Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I'm trained remote viewer. All my psychic skills have been trained, honed, statistically analyzed. I was part of I'm still attached to, because they don't let you go, a secret program, military program for mind expansion and looking for human potential and superpowers. So, what am I doing here today? Well, I'm here to try to teach you as much as I can using those skills that were honed in me. This is my mission. What is your mission, by the way? Why were you born in this incredibly difficult and for many of us miserable incarnation? Why were you dumb enough to choose to be born in end times, cycles changing on planet Earth, predicted 5,000 years ago? It means this is an important time. Why did you decide to be born now? Why? Why? You need to find that out, because when you do, you're going to feel very proud of yourself and say, wow, I really wanted to pitch in. And you can. And maybe listening to this chat podcast can help, because I'm ahead of you because of the miserable training that I went through. So take advantage. Today, I wanted to talk about the issues of light and dark on planet Earth, and those issues, their relationship to us, planet Earth, becoming part of the galactic family. So we were supposed to have finished dealing with our understanding of light and dark on planet Earth for human beings. We were supposed to have that confronted, understood, managed, accepted, integrated. And we humans are supposed to be more solid now because of that integration. When they say, may the force be with you, they're saying, may you be at one with your spirit, which is your emotional energy body, called your astral body. How many of us are at one and in peace with our emotions? Practically no one. Those that have done a lot of work on their childhood traumas, etc., are more at peace. They've accepted either the darkness of a parent, of somebody who abused them, or their own darkness. So they've accepted their astral emotional body, which is the spirit. So may this force be with you. They would have their force integrated with them, and they would be stronger. It's when you haven't dealt with the traumas in your life that are usually a repeat of other incarnations, and they repeat as a pattern in this lifetime. When you have that and you haven't taken care of it, your vibe is very low, your frequency is very low. And you're going to enter this time of integration of planet Earth into the galactic family. That's a nice way of putting it. And you're still going to be battling with the people outside of you that are putting that darkness in your face, trying to get you to see something even though they don't know it. Or you're going to be battling with what the Mayans said was going to be the biggest issue now. 5,000 years ago, they said this, that humans were, they didn't say this to my knowledge, but it has to do with revelations. It's not being revealed just how god awful politicians are or business companies are. It's revelations about everything, including what you have hidden inside of you. The stuff that you did when you were a kid. Oh my God. And you don't even want to talk about it. You actually don't even think about it. You actually don't even remember. And most people that have been sexually assaulted when they're very, very young don't remember half of it. But it's still there, and their reaction is still there. I'm witness to that. It makes their vibration very heavy. They haven't confronted their darkness, which, yes, in terms of sexual assault, is the other person's darkness, but it turns out that the nice guy also has a reaction to it that creates darkness in them, such as a resulting depression or a resulting rage. So, what you haven't dealt with, according to the Mayans, is what's going to be the big issue now. And they weren't even talking about, to my knowledge, about the integration with the galactic beings. They were just talking about end times and you. So it turns out that end times is going to be all about you. So you think that you're dealing with something else. Yes, and you are. But the big thing that can take you down is what's inside of you. The whole integration of light and dark has not resolved on planet Earth. We're still pointing too many fingers at people without recognizing that human beings, our big enemies, are not other human beings. They're galactics. And we're going to know that apparently soon enough. So when we talk about putting to death people that sexually abuse children, great concept. That's been happening for centuries. Not sure that that's going to stop it, but basically, what it's saying is we are going to eliminate the darkness by killing other people. And I'm not too sure that that is going to be addressing the integration that needs to happen now, which is an integration of the light and dark. It's not the eliminating of the dark. So look at society as a whole. Why is there so much sexual abuse? And that's what you need to look for and find. And as that group in psychology is contending, when people become mentally ill, which certainly abusing other people is mentally ill, you need to find out why. You can't just focus on what they did that was terrible and then try to medicate it out of them or kill them. You have to find out, why did that happen? Being it that it's been happening since the beginning of time, maybe it's time that we resolve why. Why is that such a weakness in human beings? Associated with the second chakra. That is the sacral chakra, which means it's the sacred part of us. That's the chakra associated with creation. Our biggest creation is our children. Maybe we shouldn't be killing all the people that mess up in that arena. Maybe we need to find out more. Population collapse. What's that got to do with sexual abuse? It is all coming from the same energy center. Most people don't even know they have that energy center 2 inches below their belly button, which is fine that they don't know. The important thing is not to think that we're going to be able to kill darkness. The important thing is to remember that at this time, we're supposed to be integrating light and dark. Yes, it's very hard. Well, when I started my therapy from being a mind control victim, my sister said, "Remember, you chose this." And I said, "Listen, I'm not that dumb. Who would ever choose this? What are you kidding me? This is crazy." I mean, my history is so bad that every psychologist I work with, without exception, there were 3 specialized, they all said they had never heard a worse personal history, and none of them doubted what I said. I actually wanted them to doubt it in the beginning. I wanted it to be my mind making up these stories because that was going to be easier to deal with than the reality of what I was living in the midst of this network of evil. Well, they said, "No, you psychologists, we know you're not making it up." So, and I didn't make it up, and it's a whole storyline that will soon be all over the place and in the news because I'm not the only person that went through this. So, it's an integration of light and dark. What happens when you integrate light and dark in your life? You become really powerful. Now, I'm going to take my own personal story. I have a group of they're very specifically a group of Cuban politicians who want me dead because I have too, as they say to the people that they have paid to follow me, she knows a lot of our secrets. And then the next words are, she's mentally ill. Well, great. Actually, the therapists that I had to go to because of them have all said that I have dissociative disorder, which is not considered a mental illness, but a reaction to extreme trauma. But that's okay. So we have this issue of them trying to use my personal darkness, whether stuff that I really did and was involved in or stuff that they invented, to take me down. And they were sure that if they could shame me enough, use my darkness to take me down, that it would be taken care of. No, can't use that against me because guess what? I already worked on it in therapy. The first thing I did was to deal with what I could remember at that point. Unfortunately, I keep remembering other things, god awful things that I did because of the mind control, where they turn you into a robot and you do stuff that you would have never done. Oh my God, you wouldn't even think about that. What, they can't use it against me because I already accepted it and I will publicly proclaim it. Not an issue. They know that the easiest way to control people is through shame. And if you basically put it all out there, or you're willing to go through the shame, they have, most people won't have anything on you. What is that? It's an integration of your dark side. I had to integrate my dark side in the 90s, and I still have to do it in the 90s. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here today. I would have wished myself that my right ovary, which I said was my passport out, that cancer would kick in. 3 months, I'm gone. That's it. It's over. Easy way of getting out, of not having to accept that I did those things. Well, you know what? I did those things. So did everybody else that was a victim of mind control. But still, it's horrible. Yes, it's horrible. I had to accept it. And there you go with the purification mantra. Even though I'm a liar, I love and accept myself, or even though I love and accept myself, which is also the Catholic confession. So when you incorporate your darkness, you become very solid. Nobody can take you down. Because when they say, may the spirit be with you, may the force be with you, your force is with you because your astral emotional spirit is a force, according to Hinduism. So you have your physical body, and then you have your astral emotional body, which is your spirit, which is with you from inception. But most people think it kind of pops up when your physical body dies. It doesn't. You always have it. That's how come you astral travel, because you have an energy body that's your astral emotional body that detaches at night to do all sorts of interesting things, or to get sexually abused by other spirits because you're a little bit broken. So when you integrate your own personal darkness, you become very solid. Now, I was in Tibet when I was 10, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't really talk about, and there's certainly so much I don't even remember. But I seem to remember having met not the Dalai Lama, but the Panchen Lama. And everybody goes, who's a Panchen Lama? The Dalai Lama, and anybody that needs to correct me because I'm wrong are more than welcome to say it. It's not an issue for me to be corrected. On the contrary, I want to move forward with accurate information. Okay, so the Dalai Lama is the political head of Tibetan Buddhism. The Panchen Lama is the head of, the spiritual head of Tibetan Buddhism. Now, there's this whole storyline about and there are reincarnations. This Dalai Lama is a reincarnation of a previous soul that was born, and they knew before he was born. Supposedly they know before they die. That's, by the way, not so hard. And then you have your Dalai Lama. The same thing with the Panchen Lama. Except the Panchen Lama is very iffy right now because the Chinese say they got the kid that was the reincarnation of the last Panchen Lama. And that's where the true power is, in the Panchen Lama. How interesting. And I always said, when I started to read up on the one that I would have met if I actually did meet him, I always said, kind of makes sense that I might have known this person, but energy transferred in a sense, in that he believed that he could get more for his people if he worked with the Chinese. Working with the darkness, I just realized. Rather than simply identifying them as the enemy, he felt that he should work with them to get more for his people. Tibetans loved him. Highly honored. He died in some kind of probably a mysterious airplane crash. I have no. He died in an airplane accident. He died in an airplane. Was it an accident? I have no idea. So this whole integrating of the light and dark. So why is he so powerful? Because he's like a master. That's why the Chinese have him. because of his power. You can read up on it. Panchen Lama, where is the Panchen Lama? And the Tibetan Buddhists say they have him, but the Chinese said a long time ago that they had him. You figure it out. The Panchen Lama is the person that's the head of Tibetan Buddhist spirituality. He's a sacred head of it, more powerful than the Dalai Lama. And he can direct the forces of light and dark. That is true power on planet Earth. Now, when you look at the Tantric Buddhists, which is how I was able to string this all together, and I was like, wow, Tantric Buddhism is the Buddhism that has to do with magic, it's superpowers, the highest level of Buddhism. Very few Buddhists study it or know it. I think I was trained by Tantric Buddha monks, and certainly it's my vibration today in terms of the ones that I gravitate towards. But the issue of the light and the dark and the integration, giving you that level of power on planet Earth, is exactly what should be happening with everybody today. But in order to get there, you have to be willing to know what's going on inside of you. What do you have hidden in your liver, in your spleen, in your ovaries? What do I have hiding in my right ovary that I knew that it would be so quick if I intended it for it to take me down and to cost me my life because I didn't want to live any longer? What's in there? What information is there? What memories are there? What's in the head of all the people that are getting Alzheimer's and dementia? It's a darkness of theirs. And they become even more dark. But that darkness started inside of them. So the Panchen Lamas and the Tantric monks, I don't know the history of the personal history of the Panchen Lama. I've told you the extent of which I know, but the Tantric monks are very interesting. They can be alcoholic, they can be womanizers, and they're still masters. They have the full gamut of emotions, of activities, and they are never judged. Half of them, I don't have, that's a Cuban exaggeration. Many of them are like, if you saw them, you say, that guy's completely nuts. He's a Tantric Buddhist monk. Lots of power. No issue in terms of behavior, in terms of your judgment, or them judging themselves. So we were supposed to achieve this before we got thrown in with all these other planets, with the beings, some of which are well-intended, others not. Some of who would love to take us over, others couldn't care less. We were supposed to have integrated our light and our dark. Okay, so I'm going to give an example now that will probably be upsetting to a lot of people. But when you look at politics in the United States and the Democrats and the Republicans, and you listen to the stuff that's said, which I have through the years, but not really. Politics is the opium of the masses, so I don't spend too much time on that. But the issue that is coming out now having to do with the Democrats, and I was a Democrat forever until recently, is that they haven't integrated their darkness. They want to cover everything with light and good intentions. We want to help all the immigrants. They should all come and we'll take care of them all. We'll figure it out because that's what we do in the United States. We take in everybody that is not doing well in their own country. Well, you're only seeing half of the puzzle. You're seeing the part of it, the part of you that would like for everybody to be okay and to help everybody. But then you find that when they deliver these immigrants to the homes of these Democrats that said they want to take care of them, they don't want them there. They're denying their own darkness of, wait a minute, I want my territory to be the way I want it to be. I'm okay with immigrants, but it has to be someplace else, not here. That's their own personal darkness. They haven't dealt with it. Now, what does that mean? That they should let them into their homes and their yards? No. What it means is that they should have understood that they really would not really want to have to deal with their own personal world full of people that are, it's not a question of being legal or illegal, people that are into survival mode, that need food, they need housing, they need everything. They don't want that in their personal environment, in their town, in their block, in their yard. So they consider that a darkness, that they don't want that in their area. That's not a darkness, it's a reality. They really, how about if we try to deal with this some other way and not let them all come in, but not let them into my neighborhood? It's total hypocrisy, which is now not just getting called out, but you can see it. This whole, which I call the New Age movement in the United States, where everything is the angels and angelic and everything gets taken care of by lots of love. No, it doesn't. You can put love on top of hate, but the hate is still there. The reality of how you feel is still there. And I tell people this, which may or may not be making my point now, but I think it's important to say it. When you have somebody you loved a lot and then things go wrong in the relationship, in the marriage, whatever, and you end up hating him, guess what? That love never went away. That love is there. You just threw hate on top of it. And if you could process that hatred because of stuff that they did or happened, that love is there. You don't get rid of it. You just put darkness on top of it. So, did that support what I was saying before? I have no idea, but I did want you to know that. Just, you have somebody you want to get back together with that you loved incredibly, but right now it's like too messy. Why don't you deal with the messes? Deal with the darkness of the relationship. Even though I hate that she was unfaithful, or even though I hate that he didn't work hard enough and we weren't able to, whatever, I love and accept myself. Integrate that, accept that. And that love will pop up again because it never left. It never left. It got a landslide of negativity on top of it, and you think it was gone. That's it. It's over. I don't feel the same way. No, you don't, because you're only feeling the stuff on top, the dark. But back to the point of light and dark. We were supposed to have integrated our personal darkness before we got thrown into the galactic mix, and we didn't. And it's going to be a mess. So let's go to the photograph that was advertising this podcast chat, the left ear. We have a portal, the left side of the head, which is how our spirit came into our physical body and the physical dimension on planet Earth. That portal is supposed to open when you have evolved enough. Unfortunately, it opens up prematurely through blows to the head, like concussions when you boxing, playing football. It opens up due to radiation. And when it opens up prematurely, because this portal connects us to off planet, because we came from off planet, came into the physical dimension of this planet and into the physical body, the entities that come in through here, when it has opened prematurely, which is the case in practically everybody today, the entities that come in are low vibration. The worst of them are called the incubus and the succubus. The Catholic Church has them in their listing of negative spirits. They're associated with perversion and all the sexual perverts that kill and maim and do all sorts of things that are not necessary. The body's already dead. What are you doing? They have those kind of entities. They come in through the left ear, here. And they come in, they go down, and they fall asleep in your energy center that's 2 inches below your belly button, which is called the sacral chakra, which is also the sexual chakra. Population collapse, sexual abuse, perversion. It's also the chakra of your sacredness. It just got polluted with this entity that came in because you too much cell phones. You sleep with your cell phone. You're still sleeping with your cell phone. What's the matter with you? That's microwave coming out of there. Did you really think that microwave cooks meat? It's not going to cook the meat of your head? What is the matter with you? Probably too much radiation. That's how come you can't think clearly. It's in the Bible, by the way, that this hot thing that we hold close to us, allows evil spirits in that whisper lies into your ears. And they said it would happen at end times, and it's happening. So we have a person, people, an entire planet that hasn't integrated their darkness. And then you add the radiation issue. You don't have to be dark. You don't have to have a traumatic history to have this portal prematurely open. All you have to do is live in a modern city and not know that there are music frequencies that can correct the frequency of microwave, which is what all of our mantrista music, our mantra music is about. What we always use in these chats and is on our YouTube channel. And we're going to be promoting heavily, having to do with world peace, etc. Almost all of them are done by Mateo Cuaron, who's an incredible composer. So we didn't integrate our darkness. So we move forward into a world of total chaos. Because now we have to deal with aliens from all sorts of planets and galaxies. And again, you need to get a photograph of that bar scene in Star Wars and put it up someplace. And remind yourself that that is very soon going to be our life. And you have to get used to it. You can't identify them as dark. You don't know. You don't know because you haven't even dealt with the darkness in your own life. And you're going to think you're going to be able to tell darkness from other places. And what about the law of attraction? If you still have the darkness in your life, that when you were 12, your father died, and your family yanked you out of your country and brought you to another country, you didn't even know the language, you have post-traumatic stress syndrome, like a war veteran. Was that ever dealt with? Or did you just have to put on your tennis shoes and keep moving? Because if you're an immigrant and survivor, you just have to keep moving and keep doing. Did you ever go back to take care of that? No, that's inside of you. That made you a stronger person. Nobody can knock you down. They can't knock you down on the physical dimension. But emotionally, you're already really weak. So you have this heaviness, this darkness inside of you that you've managed to take care of, no problem. And then you have all of these beings from other galaxies and planets coming in. What's going to get close to you? I can tell you this, that most people that have been sexually abused have this portal prematurely open. So all of them, unless they've done a ton of therapy, and I'm not even sure that I've finished with that issue, okay? All of those people are susceptible to the aliens, the bad ones that come in through the left ear. Now, if you want to know more about that, you should look at our series called Don't Panic on YouTube. Francis Fox Reveals YouTube, the series Don't Panic. And as I always say, that was really just one video, but everybody said, this is intolerable. This is too heavy. This is going to scare people. So we made it into 8 videos, which is basically the intro repeated and then a piece, a little chapter, teeny weeny. And then you have to see the next one because people can't take it. And yet that's been happening forever. That's most of the people I have to take care of have those issues that are in there. Restless leg syndrome is one of them. Came in through here. So the fact that the medical profession put a name on those symptoms, restless leg syndrome, did not take care of the issue because the issue is spirits that have invaded you. I want for you to consider that you should start doing mantras so that you can start integrating your darkness. And by the way, in Tantric Buddhism, they know it. They also know it in Catholicism, but in the esoteric part, the people that behave poorly and do god-awful things are more evolved than the people that show themselves as being full of light. Because if you're just full of light, I can pretty much guarantee you, you are avoiding your darkness. Very few people have actually gone through it, dealt with it, confronted it, cried about it, screamed about it. How did this happen? How could I have done that? How could I have positioned why did I do that to my sister? Whatever it is. Your own version of darkness is part of your personal history. And there can be a bigger picture of your country was at war, your family was at war, parents, whatever. But it's what it did to you and your reaction to that that you need to take care of. So we're going to go ahead and end this doing a mantra, which in the Catholic Church is a confession. And the mantra is, give me 1 second. Okay, I don't know how many spelling errors will be here because I could barely see. Okay, so this is the mantra. Even though I'm ashamed of what I did, I love and accept myself. And you can say, what did I do? I have no idea, but I'll tell you what. When you start to do this mantra and you repeat it in silence and expel through the mouth, after a few minutes, probably something's going to come up. But what's going to come up is the uppermost layer. But if you keep doing it, you will probably get childhood memories of stuff that you did. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I didn't remember that. And you keep breathing and you keep repeating the mantra and you will work it through. You won't have to call the person and apologize. You won't have to slit your wrists. You won't have to apologize forever. You just simply accept that you did that. It was part of your process. And you probably, if you did something wrong, you probably were helping someone else. Bigger picture. Remember, you always have to have the lens really wide, and then you can get the true answers. Okay, so we're going to do that for 7 or 8 minutes. Okay? And let's get us some mantra music. We're going to go to the subconscious, which are the whales. I love that video. I love it. Here we go. How do you feel? You should feel better. It doesn't matter how much we entertain ourselves. My control used to say, not my handler, my control used to say that human beings need to keep themselves busy as they wait to die. And honestly, I have noticed that too many times. That's why it's so good to align with your mission, because then everything makes more sense. Because it automatically means that you're good people, which you are. And you chose whatever disastrous, including doing bad things, to help out. So let me give you the mission mantra so that you can feel better. And be diligent in finding your darkness, even if it's just continuing with this mantra, which will act like a little shovel, going deeper and deeper and deeper, and bringing up stuff that you'd prefer not to remember. And you don't have to go to therapy. You don't have to spend the tens of thousands of dollars that I spent years ago. You just need to, with this mantra, you can process it and finish with it. And we don't have that many issues. What we have is 2 or 3 issues that we bring in from each incarnation and they repeat, and each issue has many symptoms because it wasn't resolved. So let me give you the mission mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to align with my miraculously prosperous mission. Please, God, help me with my intention to align with my miraculously prosperous mission. So, in terms of gossip, updates on my life, still no mail. I had gotten in a couple of pieces. Now there's nothing coming in. I have not gotten anything important that probably was sent to me, but I didn't get because they did not want me to get it. Therefore, who's them? The bad guys. Doesn't really matter. My handler seems to be on the run, and I think that he's losing it. I think that he behaved so poorly, and maybe I did so much screaming, and maybe the people in Washington woke up and understood that he's not just my enemy, but he's their enemy also. The people that own him, handle him, pay him. Maybe he had them asleep, and maybe they woke up and realized it, because he is not footloose and fancy free now, which is good. He's a little bit more dangerous right now, but this will pass soon enough. It's going to be really interesting when this country really understands darkness, as in dark black magic, because this country is so full of light. The New Agers and the love and the angels won't deal with the devils. The devils, by the way, are from off planet. They won't deal with them. Well, we're going to have them living here with us. It's going to be really interesting to see when this country, the United States, becomes aware of the extent that black magic is used in this country, which is what had me screaming. And I was not listened to by the big guys in Washington, but apparently they did hear me, or they heard somebody having to do with that. Now, how is it they're going to take care of that without getting it into it themselves? It is going to just be very interesting. An integration of light and dark in the other dimensions. Because obviously nobody wants black magic, but it's in the other dimensions. You don't even see it. You just get knocked down by the influence. But we'll talk about that another day. So we will see you again. And thank you for joining me. I'm Frances Fox, and you can listen to this. And I hope you recommend it. Our podcast, Frances Fox News from Other Dimensions, and we are in Apple, and we are also in Spotify. Okay, and this chat goes up on our 2 YouTube channels. And thank you for joining me.